The game to watch this week is obviously the NCAA championship, 9 p.m. Eastern time on CBS. Gonzaga versus Baylor, probably.
Most likely. Not.
The game that you could watch but probably won't would be the NCAA Women's Championship. I will probably watch because I think my team is going to play UConn. Stanford is playing South Carolina to get to the ship, and Arizona versus UConn is the other game. That is your Final Four for the women's side. And I, of course, am rooting for the Cardinal. Whoop, whoop.
Did you see the crazy gym facility they set up for the women in that tournament?
I only saw the subpar women's facility.
Oh, by crazy nice, I mean the rack of 6 pairs of dumbbells that maxed out at 25 pounds that they set in the middle of this huge gymnasium for them.
Who decided that?
I don't know. I feel like we need to have that person's name. Who at the NCAA, that set up the women's tournament and did the logistics and the planning? Who was it that said, "Oh yeah, give them a few dumbbells and they'll be straight"? Like they don't even lift weights.
So
we need that guy's name.
I talked a lot of shit, right? Because it's too easy. Y'all don't realize this, that y'all make it too easy to make you mad. It's so easy, right? I am not upset. I'm not upset that they didn't give them more weights. Why? Because I don't really fucking give a shit. However, you didn't even try. I could have been I could have seen.
It would have been better if you didn't give them anything. Like we could have slid past that easier if you just left them completely out.
I could have defended you if you were just 75% of what the men got. I could have defended you and been like, oh, they don't bring in as much revenue, so they don't, their facilities aren't going to be as. I could have done that, right? That wouldn't even been hard. But to give them a set of dumbbells?
A shitty set of dumbbells at that.
A set of dumbbells. I can't defend you. The only defense I have, which is the way I piss people off, is I was like, why are they lifting weights anyway? And then they're like, you don't know shit about being an athlete. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you. Right?
Yeah.
It's hard to... You didn't give me enough. You could have gave me more to piss people off with. But instead, I could have went sexism, which I don't prefer to do, because that is not how I actually feel. So, it's really hard to argue that. And then I had revenue, which is the weakest argument anyway, because they make the NCAA has plenty of money to do this. So,
yeah, you can't
do better.
You've been extorting these students for how many decades? Y'all got enough money to cover a gymnasium.
For the sake of left hooks are free, give me something to work with. All right? My goal is to talk shit, all right? I talk shit.
Here.
I'm good at it. I'm an asshole. I need it. I need you to give them a little bit more than a set of dumbbells. You could have gave them 50,000 resistance bands, and I could have made way more. I could have said way more bullshit.
Yeah, buy them a few sets of ankle weights, resistance bands, and some yoga mats, and give me something to go with here.
Yeah, the dumbbells.
25-pound dumbbells.
I can't do anything. That would have been if the Boulder, Colorado shooting happened because the cops gave him an AR-15 to use for the weekend. I would have been I can't say anything. I have no arguments.
Well, from what I understand from some of my liberal friends out here on Facebook and social media, it seems like I can just go get machine guns at CVS over here and just check one out, fully auto. So
no, this isn't 1942.
Oh.
All right.
But I seen it on Facebook.
The last time you could do that, they were also putting Japanese
Heroin.
people in concentration camps in the United States, which, by the way, Asian lives matter, and somehow we've forgotten that we actually put them in camps because we were worried that they were on the other side. Remember those days? Remember how your grandpa didn't do shit about that and didn't care? Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden was born in 1942, and he didn't even try to volunteer for the war. He was 3 years old. He could have went.
Could have done something. Pussy.
I love talking.
Shout out to Hunter Biden, though. That kid knows how to party. out here on the internet smoking crack pipes with prostitutes. Like, that's the type of first family I want running this joint.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we had a first family like this was the Bushes getting, the daughters
Just
skanking it
bought.
up.
Ooh, skanky. That's a fun word, skank. I don't use the word skank very often. I feel like I should.
That's a good
Like,
word.
ew. Look at that skank. Ew.
I watched B-Rad TV has the South Park only channel, South Park 24/7,
Oh,
and I was watching that, and they had the Harley episode where they changed the dictionary definition of the F word, not fuck, the one that you can't say or else you get canceled. The 90s word for literally anybody who wasn't you.
the word that all the people at my mom's store call me whenever I do my hair and dress nice.
Ooh. Well, I just thought that was interesting. Like that they hit the nail on the head, right? South Park hit the nail on the head with Harley people. Okay?
Touch a nerve, for real.
They do it all the time. The episode I watched before that was the one where they were doing the was it Kyle? Was it Kyle? Or what's the other one? The one with the blue hat. Stan
Marsh.
was part of that whaling show because all the Japanese kept killing all the animals. I was like, South Park crosses the line so hard, and I love it. Oh, man.
Stop Asian hate.
That is still funny, though. Oh, I hate Mongolians.
I didn't realize that was a white dude for a long time. Like, I'd missed that episode where that's just a white dude pretending to be a Chinese food owner.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Bang, there you go, kid. Yeah,
Damn.
That's like he's like a sociopath. He has multiple personalities, but one of them is a Chinese food owner. Chinese food restaurant owner.
One of my favorite ones of him is the City Airlines.
Shitty Airlines?
Yeah. When he's like answers it, and they're like, "Oh, is this Shitty Airlines?" And he's like, "Oh, hold on, Shitty Airlines, can I have a pre?" And I was like, and he crashes the plane because he falls asleep. It's
been fun doing this podcast. We'll see you on the dark web.
That's literally what it is. I mean, you can't be mad at me. You can be mad at South Park, bro.
Have you been on the internet lately? Somebody gonna be mad at you for that.
Well, fuck them, dog. Like,
I bet you it's a white girl with dirty hair and smells like a skank.
It's not like I don't like Asians, bro. Like, I'm one of the only people in the United States.
Deshaun Watson likes Asians.
I'm literally one of the only people in the United States not 21 counts of sexual assault. No, he's up to 21 now, by the way.
21.
One of the only people that'll be like, yo, we really didn't need to drop the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yo,
I'm one of the only people that was like, no, they didn't need to do that at all. Like, that's not a moment you should necessarily be proud of.
If you haven't listened to Dan Carlin's podcast series on that, I can't remember what the title is, but you'll know it when you see it. It's about the nuclear lead up, and that shit is wild of like how loose and like unregulated we were with nuclear fucking weapons. We're like, should we do that? Some guys like, yeah, fuck them. Other guys like, I don't know. And then we did it, and then everybody's in the room crying like, we shouldn't have done that.
Let's not forget that we also were coming up with a weapon that had time-released fire bats. We were working on a project that we were going to drop a weapon, right, into large towns because they mostly made their towns, their buildings were made out of wood, and it lights on fire. So we had I think it was like thermite. They put on, I don't remember what it was, but basically our plan was to put bats, and the bats would spread out and go underneath the eaves, and then they had little fire, something to start a fire on them, and we'd light the buildings on fire with the bats. We
would send suicide bats in to light their shit on fire, is what I'm getting from this.
Yeah. That was one of our plans. Like, if the war lasted a year and a half, maybe 2 years longer, we would have lit their shit on fire with bats.
on a certain level, I'm impressed. I'm like, well, dang. And on another level, I'm like, that's kind of fucked up. like what the fuck? What did bats do to you, bro? Like,
I think they
why
got
does
the
everyone
legend
hate bats
from.
so much?
I think they got it from the idea from the legend about Genghis Khan, Khan of Khans,
Oh, yeah.
with the birds,
And he sent them over, caught all
which
the
doesn't
hay
happen.
top
Yeah, like,
roofs on fire.
they're like little sparrows, dog. They're not gonna make it, but the bats will make it, dog. Bats are big.
Everyone hates bats, and I don't get it. Like, bats don't seem that bad to me. Like, what
Dog,
have they really done other than being
there are
little nasties?
There's so many crazy World War II weapons that we were working on. Like I'm one of those like young dudes that's old that watches a lot of World War II stuff. And
Oh, yeah, I know.
here's
Used to
another
make my dog
one.
watch Nazi documentaries all the time while I was deployed.
Hey, he needed to hear it. He needed to learn. So they were trying to use pigeons to guide munitions. You fucking see that shit?
Yeah, I know about this one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we did so much crazy shit. Like, and unnecessary. That's the thing is, like, we didn't need to. Like, we could have won the war of attrition, right? The Japanese struggled to get gasoline. Like, we could have done this, right? But no, we were like, let's try some new tech out.
Well,
right?
Here's the thing is, what most people don't talk about is the emperor was already doing his lead up to conceding. You know what I mean? And we knew that. We had intelligence to support that. And we're like, about 2-3 weeks, and this will all be over. Then somebody's like, yeah, but we spent all this time on this bomb, and, like, we really want to blow something up. So
they, I don't think Japan ever technically used the words surrender, unconditional surrender. I think they said that they say that the war has the war has changed into a situation not advantageous to Japan or something like that.
The war rages on within the hearts of all Japanese citizens, loyal to the emperor.
Oh man, I love World War II. It was like one of the I don't love World War II, but I love the stories of World War II because it was one of the craziest things. Like seriously, it only happened like 70 something years ago.
Like it's not even like really.
We act like we've come a long way. We haven't come a long way. All right? My grandpa was born in 1933. He was like, 12 years old when the war ended?
There's people alive right now that have killed Nazis with their bare hands. That's wild to think about. Like there's
people out there right now that still have tattoos from when they or did the last one die?
I think that might have happened.
I don't know. It's crazy, man. Crazy stuff. Let's get back to sports, man. That was fun. Moment of the week was Russell Westbrook dropped a triple-double featuring 35 points and 21 assists and 14 rebounds. I tried to find the problem with that game. I could not find one. I can find many problems with him overall, but not that game. Go ahead.
Other than they win that game?
I think so.
Okay. I thought they lost, but I can't remember.
Oh, I thought they won.
Because usually, like, you can see Russ has a triple-double, right? And then check his turnovers, and that'll tell you whether his team won the game or not. Because
he had 4 turnovers.
They probably won. If he would have had 7 or 11, because I've seen him go with quadruple doubles before, if you count turnovers, they usually take that L.
Right. Quadruple double.
You think Russ is going to be like one of those players that after he's done playing, no one's going to like remember how great he really was in the moment?
I think the MVP is going to help him.
Yeah,
I think having that MVP is really going to help.
Because I sometimes look back at like the late 80s, early and mid 90s legends and how like it just doesn't resonate the same with me despite how much like footage and tape and everything I can go watch.
Right.
I just worry about some of those guys like Carmelo, Russ, John Wall. Like these dudes were really getting it on the court, but things didn't always line up either with attitudes or administrations or teammates or whatever it may be.
Right. See, 35 points. Where is it?
I was at LA Fitness the other day hooping for the first time in quite a while. one, my knees hurt, but two, I was calling myself Vanilla Anthony and hitting like post fades all on this kid, and he was getting so mad. I thought he was about to smack me in my mouth. I was like, shimmy, fade. I was like, you know what that is? He was like, what's that? I was like, that's Vanilla Anthony. And like, he just looked at me like, I hate you.
They won 131 to 122.
Also, they did win.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll set the turnover ratio at 5 then for Russ's win-loss.
Right. Yeah, I'm on board with the Colin Cowherd idea that Russell Westbrook is in fact overrated, but he's one of my favorite players. He's actually the closest, in my opinion, to Jordan out of all the
mentality-wise
active players.
He's got that.
Yeah, he doesn't hit fades. He doesn't do post moves as well. But like young Jordan, basically his whole idea was attacking the basket and like with more athleticism. He could shoot, but not really all that well. Like, let's be honest here, Jordan wasn't a great shooter until late in his career, and even then, he wasn't a great shooter.
Yeah,
like we've had actual great shooters, like for real shooters.
Russ attacks the rim with an attitude much like my mother after a hot dog eater refuses to pay her full rent money and she wants to turn that joint around and come smack him in the mouth. That's how Russ comes at the rim.
We are on tangents today. This is crazy.
Tangent, sine, and cosine, my friend. Math.
Well, hot dog eater might get caught slipping, but